What if you could run your own private version of ChatGPT right on your home server for free? Well, a YouTuber just dropped an app that promises exactly that. Today, I'm going to install it, show you around, and tell you honestly whether it's worth your time. Odysseus is a free self-hosted AI workspace built by PewDiePie. Think of it as the ChatGPT or Claude website, except it lives on your own server instead of someone else's cloud. And it doesn't stop at chat. It's got research tools, email helpers, a calendar, notes, and more, all bundled into a single app. I'm your host, Evan. Let's see if Odysseus is all it's cracked up to be. Before we install anything, I want to make sure we're all on the same page because the headlines around this app are a little confusing. Odysseus is not itself an AI brain. It doesn't think on its own. What it actually is a really nice front door. It's a website you host yourself that you talk to, and behind that front door, you plug in an AI brain of your choosing. You've got two ways to give it a brain, which is the single most important thing to understand in this video, so stick with me. You can run a local model. That means AI runs on your own local hardware, your server, your graphics card. Nothing you type ever leaves your home. And that's the dream, the total privacy, no monthly bill. But the catch is that good AI models are big and hungry, so you need a beefy machine, ideally a decent GPU, and even then, a model you run at home usually isn't as smart as the big paid ones. The second option is an API key, and this means Odysseus borrows the brain from a company like Anthropic, who makes Claude, or OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT. You paste in your API key, and now your self-hosted app is powered by a top-tier model. There's two downsides to that. One is that you're paying per use, and I'll come back to that because it matters a lot. And two is when you use the API, your messages get sent to the company's servers, so all the privacy that Odysseus promises is completely out the window, mostly. This is the chat window for Odysseus after you've got it set up. At the end of this video, I'll show you how to set this up on TrueNAS if you want to play with it on your own. Throughout this video, I'm going to be comparing Odysseus to OpenWebUI, which is hands down the seasoned incumbent that was already doing most of this, as well as using ChatGPT or Claude right through the web browser. First, I'm going to show you all the things in Odysseus that you can't get anywhere else, and then we'll take a look at what it does that you can get in a couple other places. To start with, just looking at Odysseus, it looks like OpenWebUI or just any chat interface for any AI you've probably used in the past. Right now, I've got it hooked up with an API key to Claude, and it works just like you would expect it to work. I have the ability to turn on deep research, to give it shell access to install things, and to do web searching. And I can toggle that off by the switches down here. I also can inject a prompt ahead of time. I can change the temperature and the max tokens here. In my case, because I'm using the API, I probably want to turn that way down. It has personas, so you can change it to some presets that PewDiePie built. And you can, of course, add a new persona if you wanted to create one. There's also the ability to do group chat where you would give it one of the pre-compiled personas, and then you give it a model that it has access to use, and they basically talk almost like it is a real true group chat autonomously without you. One of the things that PewDiePie does, I think, really well, actually, is the cookbook feature. Now, take that with a grain of salt because I actually could not get this working. But on paper, the way it works is if you were going to run something like OpenWebUI and you wanted to use a local model, you would have to have Ollama or Llama CPP or some other container running somewhere that actually holds the AI model, and then this front end would just connect to it. PewDiePie simplifies this by allowing you to automatically install a model that fits your existing hardware, and I think that's the magic. This front end can actually scan your current hardware to see what models you can run with what you have. Now, the UI is actually kind of interesting. You'll notice the screen kind of floats above. I'm going to drag it to the top to maximize it. And then on the bottom, you can see down here, all these are marginal because right now I'm running this on a machine that doesn't actually have a GPU. So all I can get is CPU inference. So it's recommending the LFM224B A2B model. The thing I don't like about this AI is you'll notice I can't actually scroll down on this page. I'm limited to this little window here. So I'm not doing this to infuriate you guys. I just literally can't scroll. And I'm going to talk about some of the bugs and some of the things I see about this because it's still very early on in the release cycle for Odysseus. It's only been out a few days. The way it would work is I can click download and then run it, and it should be able to run on my local machine. Every time I've tried this, it hasn't worked. And again, it's probably not working because I don't have a GPU, but to be fair, it should work like this. It should just work. When I click download, I get this warning up here that goes away super fast. If I click run, it tells me there's no source. So that's kind of annoying. Let's try Quen right here, 3.6. Let me download this. See, this actually gives me a good download link. And it's going to download, and I'll let this run in the background as I talk about some other things, but I was just not able to get this working the first time, but maybe it'll work this time as I'm shooting the video live. Nope, it does not. So I can reconnect, and it doesn't work, so I can try to retry the download as well. This is probably going to fail as well. So even though I love the idea of Cookbook, because I think it's actually genius for people who struggle to understand how to run local AI, For me, it's not working. If you have a GPU, it's probably going to work much better for you, but this is just kind of annoying that this is the case here. So I'm going to clear this out and then close this overlay window. You can see the cookbook is still downloading. I can come back in here anytime and I can see there's 2 things running. And it's probably going to suck up a lot of memory too, which is something you should know. This is actually going to use quite a bit of local resources, so make sure that your server that you're running this on is properly outfitted. So even though the cookbook isn't running for me, I think once this is actually up and going, it's going to be a really big deal for people who struggle to understand how to run local AI, because PewDiePie basically takes all the complication out of it by just scanning your hardware and telling you what's the best model for you. I'm actually kind of amazed nobody else has thought of that up until now. Next, I want to look at the brain, and I'm going to maximize the screen by dragging it to the top, just like that. And it's got memories, skills, and you can add memories and skills from your existing AI if you've got a bunch of stuff in Claude or ChatGPT that you don't want to lose. And there's a settings window for it because it auto extracts and auto makes things by itself, which I kind of like. And this is one of the things that works privately, even with an API. Even if I'm using the Claude API like I am right now, the memories and skills can stay local to my box. So I kind of like that aspect of it. I think it's different than OpenWebUI. And obviously, if you're using Claude or ChatGPT, all of your skills and all the memories live in the cloud, and all that data is mineable by those companies and sellable by those companies. So you become the product, even if you're paying. Right now, I just gave it a single memory, which is I'm a YouTube creator, and it's an identity. And I can search my memories or just give it a new memory if I want. I can click add, and I can click add a memory. So once I give it my memory here, I can select at the fact that's a fact, an identity, a preference, contact, project, goal, or task. So for me, it's going to be part of my identity. And then I'll hit enter. And now I can go back to my memories tab, and you can see it now has 2 identities for me, the fact that I'm a YouTube creator and that I live in the United States. Another thing I like about this that's actually available in other places, but I like the way it's done here, is the deep research feature. Again, I'm going to click this. I'm going to actually drag to the right side so I can show you guys how this works. You can see the split screen as well. So I can have my chat in the middle and I can have my deep research on the right. So you can just type whatever you want for your deep research. You can change some settings here for how it runs. And I'll show you my past research. This works just like any other deep research. And I'll be honest with you, I think that Gemini is the gold standard for its deep research quote unquote model. The way Odysseus works is it actually does this in a bunch of rounds. So if you're using an API key, I'm going to warn you, it's going to suck up tokens because it basically just builds round after round and it questions what it found the round before it to make sure that research comes out really, really cleanly. So I'm going to show you the past research that I generated, and I asked it to tell me about the new Odysseus AI project by PewDiePie. It pulled from 13 sources and it ran for about 8 minutes. Here's the cool part. When I click visual report, this is what it actually showed me. This is what it made completely on its own. I get this almost web front end that shows me on the left this cool table of contents with my executive summary, and it automatically hyperlinks all of its sources for me, including some visualizations. So this is really interesting in terms of polish. As much as I love Gemini's deep research and I think it's incredible, the polish on this is better than anything I've seen anywhere. So even though deep research is not unique in and of itself, the way that this is packaged is unique, and I think it definitely stands head and shoulders above all the other AIs that are doing it out there right now. PewDiePie has also packaged a couple things in his front end that, again, you can kind of get in other places, but his packaging is unique. For example, in this gallery, there are ways to upload photos. Once my photo is in here, I can click my photo, then click the edit pencil on the top right, and he's actually built in his own version of Photoshop. He does a pretty good demonstration of this on his YouTube video, and I'm not going to get super deep with it, but there is a legit full-on image editor within Odysseus, and it works just like any other photo editor, and you can go ahead and look at your layers and change a whole bunch of stuff in here. And this is where I want to start talking about the things that he doesn't do that well. The compare feature looks just like any other compare feature. So if you've got more than one model here, in my case, I can pick Haiku and maybe like Sonnet, and I can start this. Once I minimize my notes, you can see I have model A and model B, and I can send it a single prompt and it'll just run it through both models at the same time. And it's doing a blind comparison right now. I can show the model if I want to by clicking model A and model B, and you can see which one is going to do which. And that's not unique at all. Almost every single version of OpenWebUI, Llama CPP, or any self-hosted front-end panel for AI can do this. I've talked about the chat before. I don't think the chat is anything revolutionary. It looks just like every other chat. In terms of the functionality, like calendar, for example, this is not good. It's good because it's local, but in all reality, this doesn't sync to my Google Calendar. Now, it does sync to CalDAV. So if you have something like Nextcloud running, that's pretty cool. Or if you have Apple, that can also work. But for someone who's on the Google ecosystem like I am, this is literally completely useless. As far as the email, notes, and tasks, I mean, that productivity layer is interesting, but for example, with email, it does hook to my Gmail, and these are actual emails from my Gmail. And the cool part is I can click them and open them and have AI automatically draft a response. And that is really cool, but that's nothing new. Claude does this for me automatically as well. We need to have a serious safety talk about Odysseus. You definitely do not want this exposed to the internet at all. And PewDiePie says that in his video, so it's not like he tries to hide that. PewDiePie built this with his local model on his 8 GPU rig. And while he did actually code some of this with humans, it's still definitely not safe. There have been a number of remote code execution vulnerabilities that have been found, and a lot of people have found some serious security concerns with it. Now, PewDiePie has a security policy on the GitHub, and you can scroll through the page here just to read it very quickly. But in the video description below, I'm going to put a link to a number of the security vulnerabilities that have been found up until this point. And there are definitely some things you're going to want to read because there are some holes with this, and I would not recommend running this and exposing it in any way. Either keep it completely local if you choose to run it, or put it behind a VPN. Do not expose this to the internet. Odysseus is essentially brand new. Even though PewDiePie has been using it personally, he just released it at the end of May 2026, and it got past 40,000 stars in a matter of days. The commit history is busy and ongoing with a real group of contributors and regular safety fixes landing. It's not necessarily a dump and abandon situation. The one thing to keep in mind is it is brand new. There's no polished version releases yet, and a year one app like this will have bugs and breaking changes, so go in with the right expectations. This is exciting and rough all at the same time. Now the big question you're asking is, how does this compare against other ways to chat with AI? First is going to be Odysseus versus the OpenWebUI container. OpenWebUI is the app I point most beginners to today if you just want a clean self-hosted chat with local or remote models. It's been around longer, it's more polished, it's rock solid, and it has a huge library of add-ons. It does the job of chat really well. Odysseus is the opposite philosophy. It's trying to be the everything app with email, calendar, research agents, the cookbook, all that stuff, all under one roof. It's newer and rougher around the edges. If you want a simple, dependable chat front end and nothing more, OpenWebUI is the safer pick. And if you're the kind of person who wants your AI to also be your inbox, your research assistant, your model manager, all in one place, Odysseus is kind of an exciting idea for that. When we compare it to the ChatGPT or Claude websites, it really comes down to whether or not you're comfortable using something like ChatGPT or Claude and really paying for it. They will give you the smartest models on earth with zero setup, but you are paying a monthly subscription and you're locked into one model essentially, and all of your conversations are on their servers. Odysseus is a little bit more work because you do have to set it up, but it'll run any model you want. And if you run a local model, your data never leaves your home. The cost is convenience, and if you go local, a little bit of smarts, but the home models aren't quite as sharp as the flagship paid ones yet. Plus, of course, they take a ton of hardware, which is very expensive. So the honest summary is the official websites are really about convenience, and Odysseus is about ownership. Neither is wrong. It's about which one you value more. Did you know I'm available for hire? If you would like a free quote, follow the Hire Me link in the video description below to book time with me one-on-one. Now I'm going to show you guys how to deploy this on TrueNAS, and it's going to be a little bit different than usual because it only can build locally. He doesn't have a fully developed Docker image just ready to pull from Docker Hub or GitHub. So the first thing we want to do is go into our system and then shell. I'm going to hit Control L to clear the screen, and I'm going to become root. And now that I am root, I'm going to jump over to the wiki, and there'll be a link to the wiki in the video description below where you can see this page. Over on the Odysseus page, I'm going to follow the steps in section 1, deploy Odysseus. Once I'm already in the shell, I'm just going to copy this whole block of text. Now, again, my stacks are in Mount Tank Stacks. If your stacks directory is somewhere else, or if you're not using a stacks directory to keep track of your Docker Compose files, then you're going to want to modify this as necessary for your personal setup. Jumping back to TrueNAS, all I'm going to do is paste that entire block of code and hit enter. This is clone the Git repo and also copy the environment file. So I can jump into my apps and then go to Dockge to manage this through the web UI. If you've never used Dockge before, I have a video showing how to set this up for TrueNAS, and I like the interface a lot more, so we're going to be using that for the rest of today. You'll see in my inactive section right now, it says Odysseus, and when I click that, it's got all the cool things down here that we just cloned from GitHub. The one thing we have to do is edit it, because we have to edit the .env file. So under the Docker Compose file, which is sizable, we will see the .env file, and we're going to make some changes down here. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. So we're going to leave the LLM host as localhost. That's totally fine. If you've got additional LLM hosts, you can uncomment the section here. For example, Ollama or maybe LM Studio. Here's a place for your OpenAI key if you have that. Let's scroll down until we get to the auth and security section, and where it says auth enabled, I'm just going to set this as false for my demo instance because I'm only going to access it here. And I'm going to change the app bind. I want it to go away from 127.0.0.1. I'm going to give it zeros just because it is the demo instance and I'm not going to expose it at all. We keep scrolling down, it's gonna have the Odysseus admin password here. I'm just gonna set a default one so I don't have to check the logs to see which one it's gonna make for me. If I don't uncomment this, it's automatically create a password for you and you're gonna have to scroll through the logs. So just don't worry about that now. I'm gonna set it to admin so I know what it is. And for allowed origins, I'm just gonna allow my TrueNAS server to be able to reach the web UI by changing these local hosts to my TrueNAS IP. At the very bottom, there's a section for GPU support. If you have an NVIDIA GPU or an AMD GPU, you can uncomment the requisite section to use the right Docker Compose file. This way it can utilize your discrete GPU. Once you've done that, I'm going to scroll all the way to the top and click deploy. Once you hit deploy, you're going to see these build steps running in the UI terminal on the top of Dockge, and it's going to take a while because it's going to build the whole thing from source locally on your machine. So just let that run, and at the end, you'll see all these go to running. Once everything is up and running, you'll notice it says 0.0.0.0:7000. When I click that, it's just going to give me an unable to reach. I need to go up to the bar and remove this 127.0.0.1 and replace it with my TrueNAS IP. After my TrueNAS IP was correctly entered, I now reach the chat window with all the defaults selected. Odysseus is one of the more ambitious self-hosted apps I've seen in a long time, and the fact that PewDiePie released it for free is actually kind of great. The cookbook feature alone makes AI way less scary for beginners, and I love that he thought that that's something that we all need, and I hope the rest of the industry takes note from it. But I want to be straight with you, this is a brand new app, and it's got some sharp edges. The deep research feature is definitely kind of overhyped and will cost you real money if you're on an API key. The security model is not good. There's definitely a lot of problems with it, and I'm going to warn you, only run it behind a VPN. I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you running AI at home on a local model? Are you using an API key? Are you using a chat interface like OpenWebUI or maybe LibreChat? Let me know. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video we release. If you want to see more content that YouTube won't let me show you, head over to Patreon. There's a link in the video description below. I did a video a while back on pairing OpenWebUI with Ollama for TrueNAS, so go ahead and check that out. I'm going to put a link for that in the video description below. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, stay curious.